Just beyond Cinderella Castle at Walt Disney World Resort, there's a magical place called Fantasyland where fairy tales come to life, sparking the imagination of both young and old for over 40 years. But as wonderful as it's been, Fantasyland is about to get a whole lot more magical. Hi, I'm Jennifer Goodwin from ABC's Once Upon a Time, and today we're going to go on an adventure behind the castle walls to explore new Fantasyland, the biggest park expansion in Magic Kingdom history. The new Fantasyland will be nearly double the size of the original Fantasyland. Here you can actually enter the worlds of classic Disney fairy tales.
There's something I want to show you.
We are right in the middle of the Magic Kingdom expansion of Fantasyland here in Orlando, Florida. Really a huge undertaking for Imagineers from around the world.
There does seem to be an overwhelming amount of space here to fill. What is this? Where are we?
Well, we just stepped through what would be the castle wall, and that's really going to divide the stories. You'll have the old Fantasyland, which is this Renaissance fair sort of overlay, but
Yes.
the new expansion is really going to take us deep into the Fantasyland forest, and that's where we get to experience all these incredible adventures. It really will let our guests step in and be immersed in great stories from our classic films.
So we're walking through an enchanted forest.
Yep.
And we've left the Fantasyland that we know and love. So over here we have...
The Beast Castle.
Yes.
I hope you like it here.
Then just behind us over here to the left, you can see that's Maurice's cottage. He was Belle's father.
Papa?
This is the house where Maurice and Belle live. You see it from the very beginning of the movie, where she's leaving the cottage and sort of entering into the town. The big part here is that we're going to actually meet Belle in her place in the movie. We start here at Belle's home, and somehow, we're magically transported to the castle.
I love that.
You like it?
It's wonderful.
That is going to be an incredible adventure our guests will get to go on. It teleports them to the Beast Castle, and where they'll get to meet Belle and Lumiere.
Enchanté, chérie.
All the characters come to life in a brand new way for our guests to get to meet our characters.
Behind us, what you see is a large piece of rock work. On top of that is the Beast Castle. And we have a forced perspective going on here, where the lower part, the rocks are a little bit larger, they're also a little rougher. But as you start to move up, everything starts to soften, and that helps make it feel like the castle is really far off in the distance.
And huge.
It's huge.
And how big is that, really?
In reality, it's about 30 feet tall. But
So it's only 3 stories.
yeah. Doesn't it look much
Amazing.
bigger than that?
Absolutely.
And then right here, with perfect timing, we just arrived as they're setting the turret on Prince Eric's castle. This is the icon for the Little Mermaid attraction.
What we've done is taken you from the animation world into a 3D environment. We're bringing Eric's castle from the classic Mermaid film to life.
And this is all going to be castle right here.
Guests will be able to walk through and explore the tide pools below the castle and eventually board your clamshell vehicle and go under the sea with Ariel and friends.
But we're really staying dry.
We are staying dry, although you'll probably feel like you're going underwater in reality. We're really excited about the attraction.
It looks just like him. Everything looks so real. The attention to detail is so specific. How do you go from concept to this?
Well, when we start, artists will sit down, they'll kind of sketch out what they think the story they want to tell is. So they'll render it out, we'll make adjustments, and then we'll go and we'll build a model.
What we actually do is we build it 2, 3, maybe 4 times before we actually do it in the field. What you see in front of us right here is the half-inch model. It actually gets scanned, and then the computer will actually digitize the rebar into shapes. Those shapes will be put together into individual 6-foot by 6-foot pieces, and it will reproduce this model 100%.
Once the chip is put in place, our artisans will come in and they'll start the plaster work. Then in the end, it'll take form, and you can see some of the beautiful rock work that's being developed here in the back by true artisans.
So do these people call themselves construction workers, or are they artists?
I think they're artists and sculptors.
I feel like I'm standing in the Sistine Chapel of theme parks here.
This is sort of the heart of the Beauty and the Beast village. So you can see right behind you will be Gaston's Tavern, if you remember from the film. And then to the right will be Bonjour Village Gifts. That's sort of a take on the little bookshop that Vel first visited.
Sure, I love that bookstore.
Ah, Belle.
Good morning. I've come to return the book I borrowed.
You will join me for dinner. That's not a request.
Dinner is served.
The Beast Castle is the icon that will let our guests dine in the ballroom from the film. Just an incredible dining experience for our guests.
And this will give the guests the experience of actually being
in the movie.
Beauty and the Beast, and having her experience of being welcomed into the castle
The
as a
Beast
guest
Castle.
and treated to such a feast. Now, I love learning about new and unique technologies. What are you doing with these specifically, these tablets?
Well, we're the first project here in Florida that's using the Building Information or BIM technology. It allows us, as the creators of all this, to physically put ourselves into the facility in a 3D format. So you can stand in the middle of the room and look at the perspective, look at the proportions, look at sight lines, things like that. We can be out here in the field and we can tie back to that BIM model.
Unbelievable.
I like it here.
So we have seen the world of the Little Mermaid. We've seen the land of Beauty and the Beast. Where can I find Snow White?
Well, believe it or not, you are standing in the middle of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Ride right now.
Really?
Yes. It will be the only roller coaster in the world that actually has a swinging bucket. So as you turn a corner, you'll be able to swing out and rotate back in each individual car.
One of the things I love about all of the Disney rides is that you are being moved through an actual story, an actual narrative.
That story will pick up as you enter into the mine. The whole mine scene where you encounter all the dwarves and all the sparkling jewels, that will be done just like one of our traditional dark ride attractions. And then you'll be taken clear to the top of the lift and then drop out a second time and run around through the woods.
I don't know if I'm allowed to have favorites in this situation, but I do, and I am already calling this as my favorite. And if all that isn't enough, New Fantasyland will have a Storybook Circus featuring even more Disney characters to meet, Daredevil fun with Goofy on the Barnstormer, and dual Dumbo rides. It is hard to imagine what all of this is going to look like when it's finished.
Well, when it's finished, it really will let our guests be immersed in these great stories from our classic films.
What you're looking at right here is a little Walt Disney Imagineering pixie dust in its finest form.
I've been coming here since I was a little girl, and Fantasyland was always my favorite place because my dream was to be a Disney princess. And now your dreams can come true too when the magic begins at New Fantasyland in fall of 2012.